Hey everyone, welcome back to the Soulful Artist channel. For those that are new, welcome. For those that have subscribed, thank you. It's very low numbers at the moment, but that's okay. Mostly my channel is to get that information out there, and if you feel drawn to it, you can come check me out. For those that are new, I'm an artist. I'm also a mentor, a spiritual mentor, and I have various different abilities. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff. I won't go too deep into it. This is just another little chat like I did yesterday. I'm hoping to bring these out once a day, hopefully, if I don't get caught up doing other videos as well. I like to post my art here. I like to post when I'm drawing new sketches, different things for people to look at, and I talk in those as well, but usually it's just audio. So if you're interested in that, stick around. Sometimes I like to give art tips as well to people who are creatives. And today I was talking earlier with someone about choices we make in life. And excuse me. It's kind of running around in my head, making choices and how we actually have more choice than we think. And the more that we make specific choices, we can get stuck in, I almost want to say stuck, like a fixed point in time. Big choices, little choices, But specifically what I want to talk about is if you make a choice that has you stuck in a specific mindset, a specific way of feeling, and how detrimental that can actually be. Because the more we stay stuck with a specific choice that is really harming us, harming our ability to move forward in life, some people, myself included, are stubborn. We might make a choice and think that I have to stick to my guns, I can't let down. I have to stay with that. That's how and some of us are like, that's how I've always done it. This is how I've always been. And the problem with that is growth can't happen with some choices. And I was kind of making the point with the analogy that if you make tons of other choices in your life that affect you on a daily basis, what happens when you get stuck with one choice? And you don't realize that you make all these other little choices that affect your life and affect what it is that you're doing. If you stay stuck with one choice, even though that choice is harming you, if you get to a point where you no longer, that choice isn't serving you anymore, it creates stagnation, and stagnation isn't good. And I've been in that stagnant state before, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. You see, being aware of your choices, even me making a choice to make this video, right, is always going to affect what you do next. So can you imagine what it's like to have made a choice that has had a lasting impact throughout your entire life? Your whole life, whether you got married, whether you chose to use something, use a drug, use alcohol, addictions. Okay, you make a choice. That's one of the biggest ones. You get stuck with whatever it was you were doing as a method of coping. It doesn't matter what point in time you made that choice, because you made that choice, and now it's affecting everything you do. It's affecting your emotional state, it's affecting your mental state. Whatever choice you made to cope with something, it can change it, but sometimes people get so ingrained with a specific choice that they made that they think that they can't do anything different. It becomes a part of your process, of living. And I've made some really stupid choices in my life. I've done some really dumb shit. We all we all have. We've all made decisions that later on kind of like, what was I thinking? What was I thinking when I made that choice? And it may have seemed best at the time, but that was your choice to make. You had that free will to make that choice, and we all have that. Every day I get up and I journal. I do 3 pages of journaling every day. I have a cup of coffee or tea. I have a routine that I sketch. I go over my website. I go over the things that I want to create. I have lists, not a lot because too many lists and I go crazy, but I have lists, things that I do. These are choices that I've kind of ingrained in myself. Now imagine if you have made choices that help you just simply get through the day that are detrimental. It's always, and this is something I've learned during my growth, during my own evolution, is that it's always up to us in the end. You can look to external things to help you in certain ways, but eventually it's up to us and what we choose to do with the information we have, the knowledge we've gained, and the wisdom to be able to use that throughout our life, the rest of our life. And if you're a unique individual, or you're someone who has specific goals in mind, something you're trying to do that's bigger, it's very easy to get caught in that, to get caught up in making decisions based solely around one goal. And sometimes that has to be reevaluated. Sometimes we have to reevaluate ourselves. Sometimes we have to sit back and take stock of what the heck it is that we're doing, and to say, okay, what have I done with myself? What have I done to myself? And what have I done towards others because of that? And oh no, it's hard. It's hard for a lot of people to sit back and just say to themselves, what have I done? But it's not a bad thing to actually make a list, okay, of the choices you have made, or choices you're currently working on, goals or things, even if they're crazy, out there, to actually sit down and write out what it is that you want to do this year. That is okay. I've met people who go crazy with the goals, listen, and they go, okay, well, this is something that I'm not accomplished. And you should have seen me back when I was younger. I was a mess. Sometimes I still am, at least in my creative process. Everything kind of goes everywhere around me. I mean, right now, I'm looking down at my desk. Okay, it's a good thing you can't see it right now. And I have various art supplies and things kind of strewn about, and I get involved in that space. I'm within that space. The way I create is a little bit chaotic at times. I'm a bit chaotic. The way that I do things can be chaotic. The way that I see life at times. But that doesn't mean that I can't center myself and ground myself in and be able to make better choices within that chaotic state. Now, I'm not saying that everybody has to be like that, because everyone is different. There's a lot of choices that people make that, like I said, they seem good at the time. They didn't take stock in the choice they were making, and it was either impulsive, and I've made plenty of impulsive decisions in my life, some that were good, some that were, I don't know if you want to say if they were good or bad, but they always have different outcomes. You cannot predict what your outcome's going to be, but a couple years in, after making a specific choice, you'll be able to kind of get a feel for whether or not that choice was beneficial to you, and if you need to change your trajectory or whatever it is that you're doing. Now, if you're a creative person, and I've met a fair share of creative people, if you're a creator, a co-creator as well, there's a certain space that requires you to be able to understand what you're creating with your choices, what outcomes are possible within those choices, and to see what happens as it unfolds. My art is like that sometimes. I kind of start with just a small line, and then it ends up being weird. Okay, a lot of my art that you'll see here on this channel, it's not planned. A lot of it is not pre-planned, unless it's an illustration that I've specifically planned, like or a storyboard or a character or something like that. I will have a simple idea, and then I go from that. Sometimes those have even ended up being completely different than what I thought. It's organic. Most of the art you'll see here on my channel is organic. Like here, I'll show you the current sketch that I'm actually working on right here. Okay. And as you can see, the art itself, it doesn't really have any kind of rule set that it's following. It's just a combination of, things that I've learned in my life, feelings, intuition, things that I feel when I'm drawing. I just draw. I just kind of go ahead and do it. Sometimes I will meditate. Sometimes I will meditate and then draw. I will put a certain energy behind certain pieces. If the pieces are, for a specific purpose, if I want to have an energy behind that piece, I'll do that. And everybody who comes across my art, it's generally, they say, well, I see this in it, or I see that. Everybody always sees something different. And sometimes they'll have to point out to me, they'll say, well, I see like a heart there, or I see a crocodile there, or and I go, really? I had no idea that that's what it is. They said, really? You didn't try to draw that in? No, because all of it is based on intuition and sometimes even higher self connection of what I'm trying to get across, a feeling, an element, something within me is in my art. And what this has to do with choices, you're probably sitting there going, what the heck does this have to do with choices? Is that sometimes our choices have to be based on intuition. All of us, we all have intuition. And I think that over time, humans, our society, our intuition has been dumbed down. We have been taught not to trust it. We've been taught not to let that little piece of us kind of prosper, And if you're out of touch with your intuition, you'll know, because the choices you make, there will be an inorganic feeling to it. There will be a feeling that's kind of like, I'm just, are you making the choice? Are you questioning yourself too much? Are you making decisions based on what everybody else thinks? Are you making decisions based on nothing but logic and reason alone? Because if we lose that intuitive feel to the choices that we make and the way we want to go in our life, we're going to get off balance with our own compass. And I like to think of intuition as that little ticker, on a compass that's going to point us. Like, you could go this way, you could go that way. This is the way that is your true north. This is where you're going to go. And if you have your compass leading you one way and you go the opposite way based on other factors, that could have a lasting effect. It should align. When you're working with your intuition to make choices, it should align. It should feel a certain way. But it really sucks, because I think we live in a society where everybody has been dumped down, either with pills, television, electronics, waves of energy. Even the planet itself is changing because of the things we've done to it. There's been a huge wake-up call lately to this. Will we pay attention? I don't know. Don't ask me. I've had various dreams about what possibilities we could have for humanity. But intuition is that lovely little thing that we kind of ignore, that a lot of people ignore. And occasionally you've probably used intuition on different decisions in your life, made different choices. I have the ability to kind of know when something's going to happen before it happens. When I start channeling into that energy, I can kind of intuitively, it's almost psychic in nature, understand the most probable outcome that will happen due to the energy behind whatever interaction I'm having with someone. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm leading it towards that way. It just means that with intuition, if you take in certain factors passively and you're able to process them, and the deeper into intuitive work that you get, you may find certain abilities within you that are waking up, certain things that you didn't know, and don't ignore your dreams. The dreams have wonderful messages for us, and you can usually tell the difference between a message dream and a dream that has to do with your psyche. Okay. And I'll talk about that in another video, what that really means. I'm trying to stay on topic here. I have a tendency to get this is kind of my process here in action. Maybe I've had too much caffeine. But we're receiving messages every single day from everything around us that's trying to put us on our natural course, our natural trajectory, what would work best for us. And I think it's important to pay attention to the signs around you. It's important to see what messages you're receiving if you're making a big decision, how your gut feels, how it makes you feel, and how it feels energetically. And if you can do that, you'll know what choices are best for you and which ones aren't. Now, unfortunately, and I will talk about toxicity and the damage of intuition through abuses, and how people's intuition can be, I don't want to say it's not shut off, but it can be almost silenced. Okay. Like it shuts off from certain types of mental abuses, manipulations, control, situations where you've had to survive instead of using your intuition, and you've been taught to distrust it. When intuition gets damaged, it does take some work. It takes some work to get it back. It doesn't disappear. It's there. It's always there. It's like your higher self speaking to you. It doesn't disappear, And I've had plenty of times in my life where I made a decision thinking that I was trusting my intuition. I made a choice thinking that that was my intuition, but it was actually impulse. Okay. And that's something that I've had to simmer down in my life. I can be impulsive. If I see too many signs towards a specific path, or if I'm really feeling being in touch with my heart, okay, the energy in the heart, if there's any kind of resistance in there, and for energy workers, you'll know what I'm talking about. If there's any kind of resistance in there, you kind of get a feeling like, no, this is not for me. But most people aren't in touch with the heart energy and working with it with the mind and the body, okay, with central points. We have many central points of energy, that places where energy is moving through us. It's not just 7 chakras. It's not just that. We have various places where energy is moving through us, and they all interconnect. They all intertwine. And, if you're out of tune with those as well, it makes it difficult sometimes to make a decision that is aligned with you, which is aligned with your, I don't want to get too much into astrology, which is aligned with your purpose, your life. And I think that humans, we aren't really in touch with us. We're taught to ignore these things. We're taught other things are more important. Well, if this decision is bred into you, if this has been bred into you, if you've come into this life and you've had a certain expectation that your family has wanted you to be, or you have, you know, watched a lot of television and you think that that is, you know, how you're supposed to be, this is how life is. Well, sorry. That's not, you know, it's just not. And to truly understand yourself, it takes some work. It definitely does. I I was just thinking about my own creative choices in life and how for the longest time I would stop myself from doing a lot of things. And there are various reasons why we stop ourselves, some unseen reasons, even reasons why we may not be following what would be best for us. Many blocks, people have many blocks, and we should work through them as best as we can. If not, Block City it is, you know. Block City, you're stuck there for a while and you'll figure it out. You know, you're going to learn eventually how to dig yourself out. You're going to learn eventually how to escape that prison. And if you don't, well, you know, here comes the big meteor into your life. That's a lot of people call the tower moment in tarot. Something comes along and you're just hopping along, you're doing stuff, and then suddenly, oh wait, you mean that's not, oh crap, you know, boom, explosion. You get struck by the lightning of what reality actually is, what you've been doing. And you can go through these moments over and over and over again in your life with the choices you've made. You can keep going through those moments until you get it right. Sometimes I wonder about us. You know, are we just suckers for punishment? Humans just love to just go on this sort of suffering wheel. And I'm not trying to laugh at it, but I know, because I've done that. I know what it's like to just keep asking myself, why do I attract these people? Why do I have why have I had these really shitty life experiences? Why have I chosen to have these experiences? What is keeping me going? And of course, there's a lot there to digest. There's a lot behind the scenes going on that we don't know. There's a lot of lies. Okay. There's a lot of truths that humans aren't getting. And I don't want to say that it doesn't matter what choices you make in life because we're fucked. Like, I don't want to say that. But sometimes it does feel that way. Sometimes it feels like we are literally perpetually going over and over and over again until we get the lessons right this time around. You know, this planet is one of many, many lessons. We're all learning many lessons while we're here. And they all contribute to our own personal evolution and also to the whole, on the collective whole. But you are, and I just want to say this, okay? I have this little board here that I got for my YouTube videos. I know it's just a little it's a little marker board. Okay, and this is just what I want to say. No, it's like backwards. You are enough, okay? And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't strive for more, or you shouldn't strive for more that you want in your life, and to learn to understand yourself. But right now, in this point in time, where you are is enough. Okay. And as long as you continue to grow, you continue to be confident in yourself. And if you're not, that's okay. If there's things you're still learning, that is okay too. As long as you want to learn, as long as you want to grow, If there is even a simple hint, a small desire of learning to understand yourself, learning to understand your purpose here on planet Earth, then you're going somewhere. You could have all the knowledge in the world. You could have every single book that tells you the secrets of the universe, but you're still here. Okay? And it's okay to say, I'm enough as I am in this moment, and I'm going to be better. I'm going to sometimes be worse, you know? And it's about balancing yourself while you are here and understanding the power you do have so you can make a lasting change in your life and other people's lives. And every single one of us has a purpose. Or maybe that purpose has no purpose at all for some. Maybe it's literally about trusting, letting go, and trusting that everything will come to you as it comes to you. Maybe it is about being a great magician, a manifester, maybe it's about leading people to a different way of living more consciously. I don't feel that let me restate that. I don't think, and this is just from my wisdom that I've gained in my own path and how many times I've been here, because I've been here many times before. And if you feel that about yourself, trust that. Trust that intuition internally. If you feel like this isn't your first time here, most likely it isn't. If you feel you're here learning tons of lessons, most likely you're supposed to. Okay? But I feel that no matter how much knowledge you have, how you direct that knowledge is going to affect your field. It's going to affect how you interact with other people. And if you find your ego is not in check, that's okay too. You could be as smart as you want and have as much knowledge as you want, and understand that it's good to have knowledge. Understand that. But if you are fighting a battle where it seems like everybody else is against you, maybe that's not the point of that battle. Maybe the war you're fighting is actually inside yourself. For the longest time, I tried very hard with people I used to live with before I moved. When my awakening happened, I tried so hard to explain everything I was going through. I tried very hard to teach. Okay, because I felt drawn to it. I felt drawn to teach people, and I went through that trap of trying to wake other people up because of the knowledge that I've had. I learned really quickly that that doesn't work, no matter how mad you get. You can be mad as you want that someone else is making stupid choices and decisions and they are blinded to the truth. You could be mad about that. But does that make people listen to you more? Only those that want to listen will listen. And that's a lesson I've had to learn. Only those that want to hear will hear. So whatever choices you make in life, they're not a transaction that has to stick. You can always grow or choose a different timeline, choose something else. And I've seen and met people who were very upset, and I even went through this. Like, why the hell don't people see the truth? Why the fuck can't anybody see what's going on around them? Well, it's not up to me. It's not up to me to choose who sees the truth and who doesn't. And it's not up to me to make other people's choices for them. I can only answer if they ask. And wisdom itself, wisdom to make better choices with all the knowledge that you do have, to understand that you're no better or lesser than anybody else just because you have knowledge. So anyway, I'm going to stop ranting about knowledge and wisdom and all that business. So yeah, like I said, okay, you are enough. You are enough. You are powerful. Start to see that and make the choices that you know benefit you in the best way possible, because it won't always stay the same. All right, so I'm done ranting for now, and I think I'm gonna have some more caffeine. All right, guys, so pay attention later. I'm gonna probably be posting another video, if not today, tomorrow, maybe 2 tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure. I am going to start doing card readings. I think I mentioned that on my Instagram. Guys, go check me out on Instagram, Soulful Artist on there. There's definitely could be more to come. Yay! And do that subscribe thing down below. You know how everybody says that, subscribe down below. I don't know. You don't have to if you don't want to, whatever. This is just a space for me to get these things out there. And if you like what I have, stick around, okay? And hopefully I'll get a better camera at some point. All right, bye guys.